Dear students, let's start our class. Today, we are going to continue the same lesson, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. Youth in Nazi Germany. Hitler was interested in the youth of the country. Schools were cleansed and purified. Germans and Jews were not allowed to sit or play together. In the 1940s, Jews were taken to the gas chambers. Introduction of racial science to justify Nazi ideas of race. Children were taught to be loyal and submissive, hate Jews, and worship Hitler's. Youth organizations were responsible for educating German youth in the spirit of National Socialism. At the age of 14, boys had to join the Nazi youth organization, where they were taught to worship war, glorify aggression and violence, condemn democracy, and hate Jews, communists, gypsies, and all those categorized as undesirable. Later they joined the labor service at the age of 18 and served in the armed forces and enter one of the Nazi organizations. In 1922, the Youth League of the Nazi was founded. The Nazi cult of motherhood. In Nazi Germany, children were told women were different from men. Boys were taught to be aggressive, masculine, and steel-hearted, and girls were told to become good mothers and rear pure-blooded Aryan children. Girls had to maintain purity of the race, distance from Jews, look after home, and teach their children Nazi values. But all mothers were not treated equally. Honors crosses were awarded to those who encouraged women to produce more children. Bronze cross for 4 children, silver for 6, and gold for 8 or more. Women who maintained contact with Jews, Poles, and Russians were paraded through the town with shaved heads. The art of propaganda. Nazis term masculine as special treatment. Final solution. Euthanasia for the disabled. Selection and disinfections. Evacuation meant deporting people to gas chambers. Gas chambers were labeled as disinfection areas and looked like bathrooms equipped with fake shower heads. Nazi ideas were spread through visual images, films, radio, posters, catchy slogans, and leaflets. Orthodox Jews were stereotyped and marked and were referred to as vermin, rats, and pests. The Nazis made equal efforts to appeal to all the different sections of the population. They sought to win their support by suggesting that Nazis alone could solve all their problems. Ordinary people and the crimes against humanity. People started seeing the world through Nazi eyes and spoke their Nazi language. They felt hatred and anger against Jews and genuinely believed Nazism would bring prosperity and improve general well-being. Pastor Niemöller protested an uncanny silence amongst ordinary Germans against brutal and organized crimes committed in the Nazi Empire. Knowledge about the Holocaust. Information about Nazi practices had trickled out of Germany during the last years of the regime. But it was only after the war ended and Germany was defeated that the world came to realize the horror of what had happened. While the Germans were preoccupied with their own plight as a defeated nation emerging out of the rubble, the Jews wanted the world to remember the atrocities and suffering they had endured during the Nazi killing operation, also called the Holocaust. At its height, a ghetto inhabitant had said to another that he wanted to outlive the war just for half an hour. Generally, he meant that he wanted to be able to tell the world about what had happened in Nazi Germany. This indomitable spirit to bear witness and to preserve the documents can be seen in many ghetto and camps inhabited, who wrote diaries, kept notebooks, and created archives. On the other hand, when the war seemed lost, the Nazi leadership distributed patrol to its functionaries to destroy all incriminating evidence available in offices. Yet the history and the memory of the Holocaust live on its memoirs, fictions, documentaries, poetry, memorials, and museums in many parts of the world today. These are a tribute to those who resisted it, an embarrassing reminder to those who collaborated, and a warning to those who watches in silence. Dear students, let's recap the portion. Youth in Nazi Germany. Hitler was interested in the youth of the country. Then we have discussed regarding the Nazi cult of motherhood, the art of propaganda, ordinary people and the crimes against humanity. And the last, we have discussed about knowledge about the Holocaust. Thank you, students. Have a nice day.